everybody. My name is Miss Bree, and welcome back to Weird and Wacky Science. Today, we are going to be making paper and straw rockets. But first, before we start, you are going to need a ruler, scissors. You can either use a pencil or a colored pencil, and something to make some beautiful art with, like markers, colored pencils, or crayons. You'll also need some tape, a straw, and any paper. I have a yellow paper, but for my first rocket, I used regular computer paper, so any paper will work. Now that we have all of our supplies, let's go over what we're going to learn today. So in real life, when we see rockets, they go up in the sky, but why do they go in the sky is the question. And the reason is because the gas that the rockets use burn up, which then gives them gas. And the gas is what makes them launch into the air. But today, since we're not using gas and we're using paper and straw, you're going to be putting the straw inside the rocket and using your own air, your own breath to launch it. And the reason that it launches is because the air travels all the way to the end, but since the end is sealed off, the air comes back down the side, which makes the rocket launch. We call that air pressure. We are now going to be cutting out the base of our rocket. You're going to line the ruler up with the edge of the paper with to 4 inches. Make a little dash. Recommend doing this on the edge of the paper, that way you don't have to cut this side out. So we have 4, and now we're going to go by the dash and measure all the way up to 6. Try to keep the ruler straight with the long side of the paper. Make another dash and draw a line connecting the 2 dashes. Now you're going to take your ruler and you are going to make it as straight as you can and draw a straight line to the dash. Once you have your nice little rectangle, you're going to go ahead and cut it out. So right now, we are using math by measuring out how many inches we need to cut out our rectangle, and we are also using technology as our scissors are cutting the paper out. Once you have your tiny rectangle, you can go ahead and put the rest of the paper away, but do not throw it away yet. Now that you have your rectangle, here comes the fun part. You get to use all your crayons, markers, or colored pencils and make a fun design. Now we are using the A for art in the STEAM acronym. Since I have yellow paper, I'm going to go ahead and draw some smiley faces. Be creative and make whatever feels right for you. Now it's time for shaping our rocket. You can use either a pencil or colored pencil for this part, as long as you have a small cylinder. So you're going to flip the paper over, making sure that your design is on the outside. Then you are going to roll it, trying to keep it as tight as possible. Now that we have it all rolled up, we're going to go ahead, turn it around, and we are now going to bring in our tape and start laying down the edges. Do it until no parts are sticking out. Once you have successfully made the body of your rocket, go ahead and pull the colored pencil out. It should look something like this. Now we are going to be making the folded part of our tube. So you're going to pick a side and you're going to fold it just a little bit. Just like that. And again, you're going to add some tape. should look something like that. For the next part, we are now going to be inserting the straw. Your straw should fit right into the rocket. If it does not fit, you might want to lift up the tape edges and roll it up a little bit looser. In this part, we are using the E in engineering and STEM, and we are using mechanical engineering by making our own paper rocket and using another tool like our straw to help lift it off. Now it's time to launch our rocket. So a little tip is when you put your straw into your rocket, try not to push it really hard all the way into it. Otherwise, the air is not going to go through and it's just going to get stuck. So you're going to want to make sure that you put it only about halfway and then blow it. Next, we are going to add a marker to where the rocket landed. To keep the experiment going, you can try it over multiple times and see if it goes farther. Next, we are going to be adding wings to your rocket. And the wings, we'll see what it does, if it makes it go farther or fly straighter. We are now going to be making wings. As you can see, this is how it's going to look like. This is the rocket we have now. We're going to be adding wings to this rocket. To do this, you're going to need the ruler and a pencil, marker, or color pencil again, and some scissors. Now, you're going to be measuring out 2 inches. Be sure to line up the end of the ruler with the side of the paper, and then leave a dot. Now, you're going to measure out 1 inch. Now, all you're going to do is connect the dots, trying to make your line as straight as possible, just like that. Be sure to make a right wing. Both of them should be right wings. If you use the left wing, it's going to look upside down. As you can see, they're both right wings. Repeat this step. Mark out 1 inch. And then, trying to keep your ruler straight, mark out 2 inches. And connect the dots. And at this step, we use geometry by using our ruler to measure out the different sides. This is the M in STEAM. Now, you're going to go ahead and color. Now we're going to go ahead and cut out our right triangles. Right triangles are a part of geometry, and geometry is a part of math, just like the M in STEAM. Once you have your wings cut out, we're going to go ahead and attach them to our rocket. For this next step, you're going to need the tape again. Now we are going to be attaching our wings to the rocket. Take a wing from the rocket and line it up close to the bottom and as straight as possible. Then put down some tape. Try to make sure that the rocket can still stand up. You can also put a little bit of tape at the top to be sure that the wing doesn't come off. But try to leave the wing to where it can still. Now you're going to do it on the opposite side. So go ahead and just turn the rocket with the wing face down. Then you're going to take the next wing and attach it to the opposite side just like that. Once you have taped on your wings, it should look something like this. This is now part of the S part in STEAM. This is science. The science we are using is physics. The physics is when we blow into the straw and, like mentioned earlier, the air pressure that sends the rocket out. So now let's try how it affects with the wings on it. And like before, you can use a marker to see if it went farther or longer than the previous one without the marker. So let's see. You can count to 3 for extra fun. 1, 2, and 3. We have a ton of fun options for you guys to try. You guys can have a friendly competition to see whose rocket will go farthest. You can try out different sizes where one's longer and where one's shorter. Or you could even try longer wings, shorter wings, circle wings, change up the wing shape. See how that changes the way the rocket flies. We hope you guys enjoyed this fun experiment at Weird and Wacky Science, and we hope that you will check out our other videos at Arroyo Vista Recreation Center. We hope you guys had tons of fun. And don't forget to keep going science.